G'day, it's Fish the Beach Bum Investor with your cryptocurrency report and discussion for the 30th of November 2017. Not much to report, really. Apart from that, massive dip overnight. Dropped all the way down to 9,200. Crazy stuff. Someone's in the chat. I've opened it up to the public today. I've said, anyone who wants to come in, links in the description. Come and have a chat about crypto and let's talk. I'm just going to jump into the live discussion while I'm doing it. Not sure who that is. Got no name coming up. Someone's joined already. Dennis Turk, how you going, man? CJ Bacon, A-Dog. Waiting, watching. Let's go. We've got a guest in the chat. I'm not sure who it is. I've just made it open to the public today. So there is a Hangouts link there. If you want to come in and join the chat, you're more than welcome to. All right, let's see what we've got. Who's joined us here? Unknown. Interesting. Suspicious. I'm not sure who that is or what's going on there. If that person on the show does want to talk, just speak up. In any case, we will go through the market. So there was a big correction overnight. Bitcoin actually surpassed 11,000 and then dipped right down to 9,200. Approximately, I think it was about $30 billion left the market cap in pretty much no time at all. I understand it's like 5 or 10 minutes. Crazy, crazy stuff. So I'm just checking out the economy now. But we were pushing total market cap of $330 billion overnight, Australian time. And we've dipped down a little bit. I've already blown it. I got challenged not to use the word dip today. Damn it. Already blown that in the first couple of minutes. Okay, so yeah, good to see Bitcoin's actually trending up in the last hour. Obviously, people anticipating fish coming on and the action that usually causes around the market, or Asia waking up, one of the two. Who we got in the chat? Who's that?
What's up? What's up, Fish? It's AQ5.
No, how are you, man?
How you been, buddy?
I've been real good, I was real happy when that PIVX spike happened. Wasn't so happy when it dipped back down, but the whole market had a bit of a volatile time in the last 24 hours.
I sold at the top on Bitcoin and bought at the bottom. I'm pretty happy today.
Yeah, nice trading, man. Nice trading. Yeah, I think most people thought a correction with that sort of growth was imminent at some stage. I think a lot of people were calling it at 10. It happened at 11, and wow, a lot of money flew out of the crypto economy within the space of no time at all.
We're going to see a big pump tomorrow, I believe, with Bitcoin going to be on the Big Bang Theory on TV out here in America. So it's going to be, they did a whole episode on Bitcoin, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of people watch this. There's going to be over like 13 million people that watch this show. And just imagine how many new people we're going to have come into Bitcoin after this.
Yeah, absolutely. The Big Bang Theory is a very popular show in Australia as well. Obviously, we're getting the first season this year, being that we're 10 years behind everything. But no, I'm joking. But it is popular here, man. I saw an article, I saw the sort of the preview talking about Bitcoin and how Leonard and his mates mined it back in the day. So it'll be, yeah. I mean, any publicity like that's going to be helpful for the crypto economy, I would think. What are your thoughts on shorts opening up soon? Bitcoin shorts. Do you think that's going to affect the market negatively, positively? I've heard all different opinions on this.
I really haven't done my research on that, so I can't say anything.
There is a theory going around at the moment. You know, you get a lot of these theories throughout the economy. We've had conspiracy theories on Tether, on Bitfinex, and on a few different.
There's conspiracy theories everywhere, man. It's just, where do you stop? You know, where do you start? There's even conspiracies saying that AI is controlling the market right now, and these bots are doing everything. So, yeah, who knows, man? Then they think this Bitcoin thing's for, you know, something bigger than just, you know, used as cash. A lot of people are saying it's going to be used for like space money and where everybody's going to space. There's all kinds of shit being talked.
Yeah, no, it brings the wildest of theories out there. I threw one out there myself, just trying to get it going, but it didn't stick. I said Satoshi's from the future, and he used the internet to drop a white paper from the future. So it didn't stick though. No one bought into it. So Fish
Well, I'll tell
you
you,
out.
my theory is Satoshi is AI, and it was done by these elites who have been working with AI. And if AI is so smart that it can write its own paper, you got a lot of bankers that are into AI, just like Peter Thiel. And if you look up Peter Thiel on Wikipedia, he's all about singularity, and he's been dumping a lot of money into all these AI companies. So that's just one thing. And if PayPal Mafia with Peter Thiel, if he were to start PayPal and they tried to make their own currency and it didn't work, well, they believe in what system is it? Let me say, it's like kind of like a patsy almost, but you can blame it on somebody. But if AI is making it, then nobody can go to jail for it or nothing. So it's all like a little loophole, a scapegoat mechanism. There you go.
Yeah, well, one of the conspiracy theories I'd heard coming up about, well, not conspiracy theories. I mean, it does actually have some logic to it. It's whether it will happen or not. And one of the theories was that this recent price action in Bitcoin, 6,000 to 10,000, 11,000 in the last month, not even. A lot of people are saying that what that is a lot of guys are actually buying up, a lot of the big players buying up Bitcoin now to inflate the price because they to short it for a significant amount of money, and then they're done to actually short the market.
I shorted it.
On their shorts.
I made 20% today just shorting it real quick.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about futures trading, we're actually talking a little bit different than just selling and buying. It actually gives the ability for people to short the coin without actually owning it. I'll do a bit of an episode on that, but
kind of like a voting system, like a decred or something, if I believe.
Not really. It just allows. I don't know if you ever traded, if you've ever traded fiats or anything like that. But in trading fiats, like for example, I'm in Australia, right? But I can still sell the US dollar without even owning it when I'm trading on a trading platform. Now, essentially, that's shorting. If I'm selling a US dollar that I don't even have, I'm shorting the US dollar. So that's essentially what they can do with Bitcoin. I'll get into that a bit more. That's a bit, probably requires a 10-minute video to get through, but it is an time that if they could essentially buy up from 6 to 10 grand to pump the market and then bet 10 times that much on a dump and then cause it up themselves, they're going to profit massively.
Yeah. And then you get all the weak hands out, because I'd say a good 50% of the people in this are just new investors and never had any investment ever in their life, and now have their own investments at their hands of their cell phones these days. And then when you see it go from 1111 to 9,000 within 1 hour, that's going to scare a lot of people that had just bought. Everybody's buying every day. There's new users every day, so. I'd say a good 50% of those people probably sold too at the time just to prevent a loss.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was saying this morning on our Discord group that it's still very much a market in its infancy, and it's still very much emotionally driven. And this morning's dip, or the dip overnight, has definitely proven that. And, people saying, oh, look at the market cap. Look at the market cap. It proves that it's peanuts, that it's still that volatile, that it can go from 11,000 down to 9,000 back to now at even 10, but that's massive swings for something that's trying to be adopted as a major currency. So
in that 1 hour, $40 billion was sold off and 16 billion was bought right back up.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty big trade volumes. But again, I mean, relative to world markets, it is still peanuts, and that's what people have to be aware of.
Baby. This is like compared to Apple right now, right? If I believe the market cap.
I think so, around that mark. I'm not 100% sure of the Apple's market cap, but I know when you're talking about market caps of actual currencies.
No, I'm talking about the total amount of money into it.
No, I understand that. With Apple, I can look it up now. That's easy. But what I was saying is it's it's big compared to some. It's getting bigger compared to world companies, but it's in terms of like world economics. It's not even close to the smallest company, really.
No.
Apple market cap. Let's have a look. It'll be getting close to that. Market cap. Apple market cap is 870 billion. So go way to go.
Yeah, still way to go.
But yeah, it's been. Man, it was like I woke up this morning and my Bittrex account had taken like the most significant. hit I'd seen in a single session. Now that's a lot to do with the run up that it had, but it affected pretty much every coin in the market. As I'm looking at it now, and as I have since I woke up this morning, roughly 5-6 hours ago, it's steady. It seems to be steadily clawing back the ground that it did lose, both in the altcoin market and Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, there was no major news or anything that came out like that that I'm aware of that caused the dip. And, you know, that's a little, probably a little reminder to people that, you know, with unfavorable news, it could actually go a lot further. So it's still a really, really volatile market. What else are you into at the moment, AccuFive? You got any alts going at the moment, man?
Not right now, man. Just I've been kind of slowing down on everything myself.
Yeah. Well, Wilkie's the same. I spoke to Wilkie yesterday, and he was a heavy trader. Now he likes the altcoin market, but he said, you know what? He said, I'm just going to bag hold. It's too bloody volatile. He said I can stack them in wallets. He's got a few proof of stake coins. He's going to stake them away and earn his residual that way rather than trading. He said it's too much effort. I'd rather just bag hold. So yeah, it's I think a few people have sort of had their fun with playing around with trading, and now they're more interested in actually just bag holding the good projects that they're interested in.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for a job right now since I've kind of healed up a little bit better from the car crash I was in earlier in January. So I learned a lot from, you know, cryptocurrency, and I, you know, learned a lot about saving money and being very tight with my money since all of this. So I've got a lot of good life lessons I've learned being in a wheelchair and learning about Bitcoin and interacting with everybody and learning a lot in so little time. So it's great, man. But right now I'm more focused on getting the job just in case, you know, this crypto thing doesn't work out. It's still an early market. We can have something happen and it can tank really fast, as you've seen today. You know, it can do 16%, no problem.
And that's with no news, AccuFive. So imagine if we had some negative news come out on top of that.
Exactly. So I'm more looking for stability in my family, but I am going to be focused on crypto in the background. So I might not be around as much, but I'm working for my family right now, you know?
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's honorable. I'm in a position where I'm still a 35-year-old bachelor, so I don't necessarily have to consider those risks for other people as much as just myself. So that makes it a little freer in that respect. And yeah, I'll be kicking on with crypto for a bit longer for sure. AccuFive, I'm just going to pop over to the chat and just
go ahead.
what people are talking about. Jamison Banham, I'm not sure as I've seen you in here, but he said it's as big as Disney. Pablo's in. How you going, Pablo? Joe's in. Why is this crashing? Is basically the FUD that drives price further down. Yeah. Happy well watching today. Cool. All right, guys, if you've got any coins you want to have a look at, feel free to put them in the chat. I am opening it up to public discussion today too. The Google Hangouts link is in the description. If you want to join in and have a chat, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I'll just keep rabbiting on with AccuFive. We've done it before. We'll do it again. Let's have a look. I'm just doing a refresh, but the last hour looks like it's kicking back with confidence. There's a lot of green figures. What I might do is just bring up coin market cap on the screen here and show my absolutely brilliant technical skills, and we'll have a look at how the market's trending now. Just give me a second while I load it up. Coin market cap.
How's your ICO team been doing?
Oh man, we're doing well. We got into a couple of interesting projects. We're looking at Gladius at the moment. Well, we're not looking at. We've invested in Gladius at the moment. Decentralized DDoS attack prevention, basically using unused resources, so bandwidth from your home network to prevent those DDoS attacks. It is, of course, in development stage. They've actually got alpha testing at the moment on GitHub, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, but should be in beta by March, which is, you know, it's a really interesting concept. You leave your computer on, you basically nominate the hours that your bandwidth's going to be available. So if you're sleeping or you're at work every day, and you earn residual income by allowing Gladius to use your bandwidth to prevent DDoS attacks. So it's an interesting concept, and you know, there's some huge players, Akamai and Cloudflare in the industry. They're both, you know, multi-billion-dollar companies. So if they can even make a dent on either of those markets, they're going to do quite well. It's an interesting thing. But yeah, man, the ICOs are coming through thick and fast. That's the problem. It's you know, I think it's gonna hit saturation. If it hasn't already, it's gonna hit saturation. The problem is what you're really trying to do when you're investing in ICOs is find products or companies that are going to outperform Bitcoin or Ethereum, essentially, or neither, depending on what you're investing in. But that can be difficult to do because a lot of these projects are at their infancy stage, and the market tends to get pretty bored. I've seen a lot of ICOs dip off of their release on market, and yeah, well, I mean, it's a difficult space to play in. So, if, you know, my advice to anyone watching this who wants to get into ICOs is you got to research, and even then, there's no certainties, and you really got to be prepared to sit on that money for a while. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of studies are being done to show that you basically would, if you'd taken a bag of ICOs, any random bag, and taken Ethereum, you would have been much better off just leaving your money in Ethereum or Bitcoin for that matter. So, yeah, it's an interesting space, man. I'm just going to get this coin market cap up and do a screen share. Where are we? View all. Why can't I find it? Oh, here we go. All right, we got it. All right, I'm going to do a screen share now so we can have a quick look at the market. Screen share. All right. Cool. Now you should all be able to see that, hopefully. But we're just having a look at the market now. I'll do a quick update so we've got the most recent information. But as you can see, the green figures starting to return to this last 1 hour. Pretty much every coin going into the green. Still hasn't overcome the dip. Most of them still in the red over the last 24, although Bitcoin is starting to fight back. Dash has been really, really strong recently. So it's good to see for the Dash fans. But yeah, as you can see, Waves is one that's down in the last hour. There's not many. That's a good sign of confidence returning to the market, in my opinion. You know, it could be a rocky ride today. It's been big swings. You look even in the last hour, you know, you're looking at 4 and 5% swings per hour. That's substantial. So it could be a rocky old ride today. Could be an opportunity for the experienced swing traders. Yeah, it's interesting looking market for sure. Some big double figures as well. Double red figures. Oh, I don't know. All right, I'm going to go back to the chat and we'll see what the group has to say. Pablo, take a look at Wish. Okay, we can do that. I'm going to go over here and do it for you now. Okay. Wish, my Wish. Okay, it's at 16.4 cents. 1637 in BTC. I've never heard of this one. Have you, AccuFob?
No, never. Click on the website. Let's see what it's about.
All right, man. Let's have a look. My Wish, making contracts really smart for life. Token sale results. Token sales completed. Blockchain and smart contracts are changing the world, but the interest in blockchain and smart contracts is growing as the digital economy enters everyone's life. However, their mass adoption is slowed by some inherent conceptual issues. Problem, either with invocation, smart contracts can't activate themselves without an external call. Developer skills, serious developer skills are required. They're expensive. Just having a look what the solutions are. That's interesting. This part here, where are we?
Yeah, but I can make my own contracts with Ethereum if I wanted.
So it's not, in your opinion, it's not actually providing a solution that above and beyond what Ethereum already has in you know, just in this brief assessment period.
Yeah, no. Just real quick, it's kind of, you got a red and blue, you got to think of positive and negative. That's how I think about my ICOs when I break things down, is how these people color code everything. Everything. And then I start looking on if you can even contact their team, who's involved in the team. Then you start looking up on Crunchbase, the company name, and you go on Crunchbase, you can also look up the people's name and see what companies they've invested in or if they're involved in any other companies. So this right here, just the website. If you're going to make something that's going to compete like Ethereum with smart contracts, wouldn't you make a lot better website than this?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm just having a look at their roadmap here. It obviously looks like they're trying to go for those real generic contracts that almost everyone uses at some time in their life. You know, the wedding contracts, the will contracts, that sort of thing. But like you're saying, that actually can be developed on an Ethereum.
You can develop it on almost any coin, actually, if you want.
Yeah. Okay. June 2017, will contract prototype, dual system influence functions. So that's been ticked off, implemented 3 years subsequent. Will, wedding, contract, deferred payment. Insurance contracts, BTC integration for March 2018. So they've still got some work ahead of them for sure. New project, external developers dashboard, lost key for. I'd have to look more into it to really get a good opinion on it. Here's the team here. We're just having a look.
There you go.
CEO and founder of IT company DDG Corp, 10 years of experience leading IT projects. Yeah, I mean, what you do, you then go really dig into these individual people and have a look what they've done and what they're doing at the moment and that sort of thing. So
one of the ladies had something to do with smart contracts with Ethereum right there. The second lady, Valerie, it says Ethereum engineer.
Here she is, yes.
So she would be dealing with the smart contracts.
I think that's okay. So that would be okay, sure.
So more than 10 years in blockchain and smart contracts, evangelist. So she's been working on this since the start, because Ethereum's not even been around with smart contracts since what, 2016, 15?
Yeah, I'm not even sure the exact date. Actually, I'd have to look that to be sure.
That's why you really got to read these things and what they say that they know that they've done and everything, and then start researching. Because Bitcoin's only 9 years old and blockchain is how old? So she was doing blockchain. She could be somebody that's been doing blockchain when blockchains were behind the web, you know, more like development stages.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
all these people
have to be careful about this. I mean, even one that
all these people are saying 10 years.
One that I quite liked for a smaller project was WeTrust, and they had Vitalik listed as an advisor. Vitalik came out and tweeted and said, well, no, I don't really have any time.
Exactly. And then also on the bottom, where they say that on the bottom they had the companies that they're kind of working with. You can also look up on Crunchbase right there, say like that, media about us. You can also look up all that media, see if you can find any information, and then you can make your own assessment on this project.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a proper ICO assessment or assessment of even just a coin that's already in the market, it takes hours upon hours if you're going to do it properly.
It does.
That's the reality. I'm just getting off that screen share. Yeah, so it certainly has been volatile with those sorts of moves in the last 24 hours. I can't believe the moves just in the last hours alone on the green. It's like people have woken up in Asia, seen the dip and said, all right, let's go for it. Because it really has kicked back harder than I expected. I actually expected more fear to come out of this first big correction. Like it is the first big correction we've had in quite a while, since like this is a mighty bull run for what, 3 weeks at least. So
it's still jumping up pretty good. Just what, an hour ago, it's already jumped up 1.81% for Bitcoin right now. It's doing all kinds of jumps up and down, trading sideways. I really think it's just going to go really fast up pretty soon still.
You've got that feeling about it, that this was just a little bit of a shakeout and then...
I sit in front. I trade literally on the minutes. I collect every dip it does. I can gain a lot of Bitcoin like that. And that 16% dip literally happened in about 5 minutes right in front of my eyes.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly the market can move. And
that's $40 billion in 5 minutes. It did.
And you saw that I think it was Coinbase and a couple of the exchanges actually shut down during this period.
They were actually attacked, probably.
Okay.
You got to think, because now if somebody's dealing with that type of money, they can easily DDoS or, you know, flood an exchange, so then nobody can get onto it. And, you know, it's funny how Coinbase, you can buy all you want when it's $10,000, but when it dips down, it's really hard to buy.
Yeah, yeah.
Even on the GDAX, GDAX sometimes glitches out too, where the funds just won't let you sell. I've been experiencing that when you're doing these big jumps and big drops too.
Yeah, well, I had the last time I really put any significant fiat into the economy was during the dip back before the Bitcoin Cash fork, and it you know, it was a lot of uncertainty in the market, and the whole market really took a monster dip. And that was the last time I really put fiat in. But during that period, I had so much trouble actually getting my fiat in through Coinbase. It was like it was jammed up or something. It constantly was resetting by taking my limits down to zero, things like that. So, you know, I didn't have to put any fiat in this time. I'm sort of been, I took a little back out into fiat, you know, cash some profits along the way. So I didn't really have to put any back in right now, because I feel like it could potentially go either way. I think, you know, it could just soar past, you know, 10 and 12,000 and keep going. But it could also be a time where, you know, there's big money coming in. As I've spoken about the potential for shorting, and yeah, so for me, I'm just sort of holding back and seeing. I mean, I've made good money, so for me, I've taken out more than I actually put into the economy. I've still got plenty left running in there. That's the advantage of having been in from 6 months ago. But it's going to be interesting to see which way it goes. I really can't pick it at the moment, because I know this, for me, this is an event that's being a little bit overlooked, the ability to short Bitcoin. And it's been a little bit lost in how important that could be. Or a lot of people saying it's good because it'll bring institutional money, but the big boys know how to play the game too. So
yeah, you really don't want those guys.
No, that's right. That's right. So, you know, for me, it's, you know me, I'm not a fearful guy. I sit back and have a smile when the market dips. But for me, it's not a time that I'm looking to put extra fiat into the economy at the moment. In general, it looks to be kicking back nicely, though. It really does. There's some good moves. Like, I just refreshed a few of my trading accounts, and they're all starting to really regain that hit that they took from this morning. So it's good to see.
Yeah. Must have been scary for you to wake up to that price.
Well, it happens. You know, I've woken up to smaller prices. As I said, you know, I started in Bitcoin at 1,600 US, and
yeah,
I run up to $3,000, and then it dips down to 2, and then it's stupidly volatile, and you do become used to it. You know, that's the thing. When you first get into the space, you tend to look at your exchanges or your phone to see where your account's at every 2 seconds. And then after a while, you just realize that's just going to do your head in. So you sit back and look at the long term. I do a little bit of trading still, just same as you know, just a bit of trading here and there. But
and if you're not a trader, this is where you just hold.
Exactly. This is where you will literally just give up your money if you don't know what you're doing. And statistics don't lie, man. It's 90% of people losing money when they start trying to trade, when they start trying to swing trade. So
I've lost a lot of money to trading. Like, I can admit it.
Yeah, and the good thing is you've been backed up by the fact that it's been
that it came back in price.
But yeah, man, there's people in our group who've sort of gotten bored with the regular gains and started to trade it, and they've been hit. They've taken hits because of the trading. I'm like, well, if you don't know what you're doing, like I went through courses. I went through like a month of intensive study to even start to get the basics of it. And then I was mentored for another 2 months after that. So it's, you know, to actually learn the process. And I was working like a dog to learn it, like seriously 10-hour days studying everything I could. So if you want to actually trade, you got to do the work and learn how to do it. And it's not for everyone. If you're an emotional person, it's not going to be for you. You got to be able to get cool. So yeah, that's a good thing to make.
I spent 7 months in a wheelchair just trying to learn, and I learned pretty fast, and I've still lost, you know, a lot of money, but it really doesn't look like you lost a lot. I lost a lot of Bitcoin. I can tell you that by trading. So, but the money's always gone up, so it's made up for the losses. But if I would have just either held while I was trying to learn, I would have been better. But or at least use just like $100 in the exchange and just learn from that. Don't go all in. Don't put all your Bitcoin. Just hold some Bitcoin too. I'd say put 10% in and just play around.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, everyone's got to develop their own strategy, but I think what you're saying there about starting small is the best strategy you can give anyone, because realistically, you want to make your mistakes on small money, and more than likely you're going to make mistakes early on. So it leaves you some capital to actually, bring down those dollar cost averages if you've made some mistakes and got in a bit at the wrong time at highs. It gives you some space to learn. So I think that's really good advice. Guys, I'm back to live chat now, by the way. I'm just sitting on YouTube. So if there's any coins you want to have a look at, you're welcome to put in the chat. Floyd's in, Grinker's in, most of the Crypto Wave investment crew into the chat. Guys, we do also Etherceps here as well. Scooter and crypto, great day for me. I finally got into PIVX. PIVX at $3.40. Yeah, man, well, PIVX took a pretty big dip with the rest of the market. $3.40, happy man. I can understand that. I think historical evidence shows that we should get it back above the $4 mark again. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not predicting price points, but we're doing a lot of good work over there at PIVX, building community, and we're going for the Binance vote at the moment on PIVX as well. So there's a competition on Binance. Whoever gets the most retweets for the favorite coin is going to be listed onto Binance. So hopefully our big community at PIVX can get that together. But anyone who is in the chat at the moment, Lightspeed's in. Ripple, let's look at Ripple. Okay, no worries, Joe. Let me bring it up on screen. Hey, Mark. Yeah, it's been a crazy one, man. Been a crazy volatile day. All right, I'm going to bring up Ripple. Let me find it on CoinMarketCap. And then I'll change screens. XRP, Ripple. For all the banking fans out there. You got much of an opinion on Ripple, Acu5? You had a look at it at all?
I think it's going to go good for the future. Same thing with Lumens. These bankers are the ones who created all this behind it. So Peter Thiel, he's involved with the Ripple. I looked up that. So anything involved with Peter Thiel, I'm behind it.
Yeah, well, it's had a pretty good run lately, up to 25, almost 26 cents there. Is down 11.62% in the last 24 hours, trading at 2,564 Satoshi. Total market cap now exceeding $10 billion. Nice to see. Good volume. Circulating supply, as we know, is quite high, and total supply is quite high on Ripple, which keeps the coin price down, as you can see. So, yeah, it's probably one that's best known for its work with the banks, or its potential for future work with the banks. So I think a lot of the banks are actually going to go into their own blockchain. Have you got any thoughts on that, Acu5? Banks making their own blockchain to try and be...
I believe so, yeah.
I think the bigger guys will. Where I think Ripple could win, I think Ripple could, service the smaller financial institutions, your credit unions and things like that, because I don't believe they'll have the funding, or I don't think it'll be a necessary expense for a small financial institution to actually create their own blockchain. I think they'd be better off using a service like Ripple. We'll see. It'll be an interesting time.
I agree on that.
One of the most scalable cryptos actually in the economy. I think they can handle a lot of transactions per second. So interesting. Okay, just getting back to the chat to see what else. Mark G said XLM, being Lumens, has done better than XRP in the last little while.
It really has, yeah.
Oh, it's killed it, man. They had that announcement come out. Was it IBM?
Yeah, that was back in October, right?
Yeah, exactly. They had that announcement come out. I think it was that they were going to be, I don't know what form the partnership was going to take, but there was some sort of partnership or strategic alliance between Stellar Lumens and IBM announced. So, yeah, Mark G's saying that Stellar Lumens is a fork of XRP Ripple. Stellar Lumens is non-profit. Cool.
Yeah, they actually gave it away to Bitcoin holders in an airdrop, I believe.
That's interesting. And Jamison Banham said currency exchange will use Ripple. Yeah, I think currency exchange certainly could use Ripple. Your Forex your forex currency exchange. Yeah, it certainly could.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of use cases for Ripple. They've made some impressive alliances. Some of them I'm not sure are actually 100% true, but they were rumored to be involved with National Australia Bank and Westpac, two of the biggest banks in Australia, and also a big one in Japan. So yeah, there's been, I mean, Ripple's one that's been around as well. It's been around for a little while. So yeah, I think it's got a strong future. I do. I'm not invested in it myself, more for a philosophical reason than anything, but I think purely for making money, I think it's a solid investment long term.
Yeah, bankers know what they're doing.
Oh, mate, they got the money in the first place because they know how to get it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Tor FX, big player in UK, are interested in Ripple. Yeah, there's been a few actually, Jamison. So, welcome, Jamison. I'm not sure I've seen you before. Welcome to join the Discord group, man, or join in the chat. We've got all the links in the description. Hey, Joe, how you going, man? Things going well? All right.
Oh, we got Rocky. We got Rocky in here. How's it going, Rocky?
Is Rocky in? There he is.
Yes, I am.
Stop screen sharing. All right, there we are. How you going, Rocky?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Funny you should come in. I watched a interview or a web session similar to this with Roger Ver yesterday. It was brutal.
That was great.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like it. I was literally, because Ado, one of the Groms who comes in, I wrote a rap for him and he said, when I do the rap, can you make a reaction video? And I said, yeah, I'll do that. I was thinking of making a reaction video to that because I was just like, I couldn't believe what was going on. It was a pretty intense discussion, but it had me laughing quite a few times, I've got to admit.
Yeah, did you see my tweet?
No, I missed it, man. I'll have to follow you on Twitter. I'm not on there. I follow like 5 people at the moment, so I'll have to get that sorted out. What'd you put in there, Rocky?
Actually, I had 2 different tweets about that video. But I'm Bitcoin Ascent on Twitter, so look me up and you'll see them.
Cool, man. Cool. All right. Well, I might even pull that up now and see what we can find. But yeah, it was. I mean, I know he admitted to losing his cool, but I think. Someone asked me yesterday in the show. Someone asked me when we had the show. Yeah, that sort of thing. It's not a good look, right? That screenshot of him giving the finger down the camera has been shared a whole lot. And someone actually asked me on our investment group yesterday. They said, "Is Roger Ver? Has that completely destroyed his reputation?" And I said, "Look, I don't know about completely destroyed, but it's certainly not going to have helped it because that sort of losing his cool." I'm just going to close my Discord because it's beeping away. That sort of losing your cool is not something that people traditionally want to invest in. So I think he might have done more damage than good with that interview yesterday or the day before, whenever it was.
He lost so much reputation before this anyway. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if you look at the facts, he's really lost a lot of reputation over the years. But that video, I'm so glad that the host, he pointed out about the longest chain, and what he said about the longest chain was 100% correct. And Roger Ver, it like blew him away. He's like, "Oh, well, I'd never heard that before." His reaction was like, he was totally oblivious as to the meaning of the longest chain, and it really has nothing to do when it's 2 separate networks, 2 separate set of rules. It's only within the same network, and there's a temporary split, and then the longest chain matters. But once you fork, and you have a whole new set of rules, and it's a completely different blockchain at that time, the chain length does not matter. I mean, it's really a bad thing when you think about it. I mean, that chain is so much longer because of massive inflation. I mean, that's what people are trying to get away from by going into crypto. They're trying to get away from these fiat currencies with massive inflation, which, of course, degrades your buying power.
Yeah. You know what I found most interesting about the whole thing is the whole the Bitcoin Cash, Bcash discussion. I could understand Roger getting very upset because it's a project he's passionate about by people referring to it as Btrash. But Bcash is not offensive. It shouldn't be taken offensively at all. We call Bitcoin BTC. What's the difference?
BTC is Bitcoin's symbol. But
I suppose Bcash isn't really their symbol. But my point is it's not to me, that's not an offensive abbreviation. And I think he's going a bit over the top.
Yes, and his response to that was pretty poor too. Roger's response, he started calling that the host of that video, he started calling his website, Stupidautica, but he added, he's adding the word stupid to it, and the guy wasn't doing that. He was just abbreviating it to Bcash. But his whole point again makes him he's a hypocrite again, because what he wants other people to do to the blockchain that he supports, call it by its proper name, he does not do to Bitcoin. He doesn't call Bitcoin Bitcoin. He calls it Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin SegWit in an attempt to somehow degrade it some way, that because he believes Core is bad and he believes SegWit is bad, so he's trying to put it down, but that's not its name. So if you're going to go around and force people to call your chain by its proper name, then you better call every other chain by its proper name.
Yeah, absolutely. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? So I agree with that assessment. But where he really lost me? Where he really lost me, and I don't hate people, it's just not my nature, but where he really lost me is when he started attacking the host for having a business that had a revenue of less than $1 million a year. I'm like, hang on, the whole thought process of a fairer economic model for everyone, and then you're ridiculing those who don't have as much money as you. That's an oxymoron. That's right there. What are you doing?
That took me off too, right there.
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, the fact of the matter is, man, success can't be judged by wealth anyway. Not in my opinion. I have been my most successful in my own opinion in my life when I've been at my poorest most often. So
I saw right through him when he said that. He's just a greedy asshole, just like the rest of everybody else.
I was just condescending. I mean, the fact that the guys, you can like or dislike or agree or disagree with the line of work he's in, but to ridicule him for the amount of money he's making because I'm a self-made millionaire and I made more,
yeah. I think what the difference is he was saying that because he made more money, that somehow like what he thought mattered more. And I mean, you could definitely assess somebody on their financial success. I mean, you could do that, but there's other things that are important too. Like if you're happy just catching waves and getting tubed every day, and that makes you happy, I mean, that's fine if that's what your goal is, right? And I can appreciate that because I really like doing those things. But what to say that my opinion is worth more or whatever, and my thoughts are more important than yours because I have a more successful business than you, that's not right.
No, it's a ridiculous argument. It's an absolutely ridiculous argument, and that's where he really lost me. I think he'll be heavily regretting that interview, and I think realistically, it's going to be it's going to do more harm to his reputation, and also potentially for people looking to get in at a bigger level on Bitcoin Cash. People adopting it in stores, things like that. They don't want to see that sort of volatility in the person actually leading the coin. And also, he's referred to it as his own project several times and things like that. I just think that it's a little arrogant.
I also think the host got him good with the whole how many Bitcoins do you own thing, because he totally thinks Bitcoin is 100% on the wrong track, and that it's being manipulated by Core and it's being manipulated by Blockstream, and there's all these bad actors controlling it. And that's exactly what I feel about Bitcoin, or what I like to call B-Trash. I'd love to have an interview with him and have what he thinks about me calling it that. I guess I get two fingers, not just one. Yeah, now, but I put my money where my mouth is. As soon as I got this B-Trash dumped in my lap, I dumped it. I dumped it for more Bitcoin, and because I don't believe in its fundamentals. They took the best upgrade to Bitcoin since Bitcoin started, SegWit, and they took that out. They took out replaced by fee, and then massively increased the block size, which it's not sustainable. So, and it will never, you can never increase the block size to the amount that's needed for worldwide adoption.
Sure.
So, I mean,
for those of you interested, Rocky's been on our show before. We did actually do a video that we got quite technical on the scalability issues of Bitcoin Cash, and while doubling block sizes is not a sustainable option for scalability. So for those of you interested, you can jump back on the videos and have a look at that. And that's really, that discussion that I had with Rocky really convinced me that Bitcoin Cash was not providing an alternative for the long term. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a band-aid fix to a scaling issue that the whole economy is essentially facing at the moment. I'm looking for long term. And the other thing that I will say is that I agreed with Roger in that no one should throw all their eggs into one basket, but he could have also diversified that BTC into other altcoins, or into residential property, or into commodities, or into anything else. But the fact he did choose it to leave it in BTC itself, that's, you know, using the diversification argument doesn't really work when you had other options available to you.
That's right. He could have went into PIVX. He could have went into Monero. Yeah, that was just for you. He could have went into Litecoin. You know, there's literally thousands of options he could have diversified into. But when you badmouth Bitcoin to such an extent and praise B trash to such an extent, you got to put your money where your mouth is. Now, if he was to come out and say, well, I don't really like these things about Bitcoin, but it's still really great, and, you know, and he doesn't badmouth it so much, well, then, you know, he would have, you know, a good reason to, you know, split it, or, you know, keep half and half, you know, half in one, half in the other. He badmouths it and uptalks B trash. You got to go all in, just like I did. I went all in Bitcoin. You know, because you know, I would never buy B trash, but if you're going to dump it in my lap, sure, I'll transfer it into Bitcoin ASAP. Yeah, I mean, you could dump any fiat in my lap. You come over to my house and dump $10,000 cash into my lap, right? Fiat, USD. I'm going to turn it into Bitcoin ASAP. You dump $10,000 worth of French fiat. You know, I don't care what it is. I'm going to put it in. You dump it in my lap, I'm going to put it into Bitcoin. BTC, yeah. You know,
I sort of feel the same way. I mean, with the forks, I almost think that it's sort of like, because these coins are there and people start trading them, it creates an inflated price on what the coin's actually worth, just simply because it's been dropped in their lap and they have the ability to trade it. Would they have ever actually gone out and bought it? Probably not. And what that does is it gives people in the project actually the ability to set the market price by simply buying it and starting the market price there. So yeah, there's a few issues I have with the way, like the thing that bothers me. Someone else brought up something that I wasn't aware of. As you know, I'm pretty new in this space, only 6 months, and I didn't realize that Roger owns Bitcoin.com.
Oh, and yeah,
that's a.
So he's all about not scamming people, and he's all about, you know, helping people out, and he hires, like, you know, he puts bounties on people who had attacked him, but yet he has Bitcoin.com, and he refuses to make it BitcoinCash.com. So you got all these newbies going on, and first thing I did when I got into crypto, I looked up Bitcoin.com. That was the first wallet I had, and then I just had issues with the wallet. And then I found, you know, Coinbase, but then I realized what the whole Bitcoin.com was, and that was like a slap in the face to me. I felt scammed right there.
Yeah, it's a little misleading. Well, not a little, but it's hard to regulate that sort of thing, isn't it, in an open source project?
See, but that I got in before there was a Bitcoin Cash. So that's the whole thing. The wallet was, you know, he's been planning on stuff before I even knew about Bitcoin, and, you know, somebody owns Bitcoin.com for a profit. He's making profit on it. You know,
also his history in the economy itself, wasn't he? I've only started researching a bit more, but wasn't he also claiming that Mt. Gox was solvent before it went down?
Yeah,
he went over there. He went over there and made a statement on, you know, on live camera that he saw their books and he saw their checking accounts and bank accounts and that they were solvent, and that was like weeks before they went belly up and had all their issues.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I don't really trust his math skills, because one of the things in the very, very start of that interview, he says, well, how would you like it if I called you a 4-letter word? BCASH. That's 5 letters, mate. Maybe check your math skills there. So, I don't know someone who can't count past 4 being in consider. That's a bit harsh.
There's so much great things out of that interview.
Trash is a 5-letter word.
Yeah.
Also, at the very end, when the guy really, right before Roger flipped him off, they were talking about who calls Bitcoin Cash Bcash and why. And Roger, was saying there was 2 types of people that do it, and the host was saying no, there's 3, and he said that it's you, Jihan Wu, and your sock puppets.
Yep.
And listen to the verbiage. Go back and listen to it. He says, I never paid any sock puppets. He didn't say he didn't have sock puppets. He said he never paid any sock puppets. So I think he might be in control of that website where you can go there and log in and you can get little things to tweet. And if you tweet, these things that praises B-Trash and puts down Bitcoin, if you tweet these things, you have a chance of winning some kind of lottery. So he might be organizing that, but it's Jihan that's paying them. But it's very specific, and he was upset at the time, so he's not thinking straight. He should have said, I don't have any sock puppets, but he says, I don't pay any sock puppets.
Oh, it's because he's using AI bots. That's all it is. My Twitter, I actually run an AI bot on it too. It can tweet out whenever I want it to. I could set it up to tweet out every hour the Bitcoin price. I can do all kinds of stuff with a Twitter bot. So somebody like that would already know how to do it too, and then make accounts and then spread all this stuff and keep going.
Yeah, but that makes it look like it's coming from you, though. It's tweeted under your name. They want it to look like it's a whole bunch of different people that like B-Trash. So they want all these different accounts to tweet the same similar thing. Yeah, so it makes it look like it has all this support from all these different people. And it doesn't. Yes. They're just doing it because they have a chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah, and they set up the whole B-bot little things. So it's a mimic mode on these bots. So then they all mimic and share it and share it and share it. And then the real people see all this stuff. It's pushed into their Twitter feeds and everything. And then they retweet. And then it just gets going from there. And then you got yourself a little troll army.
Yeah, well, he didn't say he didn't have any. He said he didn't pay any.
Exactly.
Well, that's interesting. And all that stuff about Twitter reminds me that PIVX is actually going through a vote on Twitter at the moment to get listed on the Binance exchange. Total shameless plug for PIVX in the middle of our conversation. Sorry, guys. Let's get back to it.
It's your show.
That PIVX transaction you had sent me only took 1 second. I did a transaction with Bitcoin Cash. It took 3 minutes. I think PIVX won the race on that one.
So that's the thing. Like, honestly, I honestly believe, I really, really do believe if you want an alternative to Bitcoin, there are better options available. And I honestly believe that the market cap of Bitcoin Cash compared to PIVX is, I honestly feel insulted because PIVX provides such, at least we're an alternative. We're proof of stake model. We do things differently. At least we're not trying to rip off Bitcoin and say, hey, we're the real Bitcoin. Like, to me, we're such a better alternative, and we're priced at a 10th, a 20th of the price.
Well, we should be great.
There's so many things coming, though. I mean, with Lightning Network and RSK, and they're looking at Mimblewimble now. With Mimblewimble, they might even be able to increase the block size to 8 megs or even 10 megs or 12 megs. Who knows? There's lots of things coming. It's not that Core is against bigger blocks, like Roger keeps saying. Core does not have a small block policy, like Roger keeps saying. They don't. They have a what's best for Bitcoin policy. And if new technology comes along that allows them to have bigger blocks, they will, write software that will allow for bigger blocks. And this is what Roger doesn't understand. And he wants everything now. He's very impatient. This stuff is all coming. It's coming down the pike. You just got to be patient. Prices in Bitcoin were very, very cheap, if not free, for a very long time. The higher prices in Bitcoin have been a very recent thing, relatively speaking, and I don't believe it's permanent. Things are going to change. You just wait and see.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I've heard a lot of good things coming out of the Bitcoin core developers. I guess the argument I was pinning is that, you know, Bitcoin, if you are looking for an alternative to Bitcoin, there are better options than Bitcoin Cash, because there are things that provide a much different value proposition to Bitcoin than essentially a client with a scaling solution that should see us get to, I can't remember the figures, but it was nowhere near the 100,000 per second.
Well, almost any coin is better than Bitcoin Trash. I don't know of one that's worse, really. I really don't.
No, I could name a couple. There's a couple of shockers in the market, Rocky, to tell you that much, mate.
Which ones are worse? What makes them worse?
Oh, there's a couple that honestly are just, there's nothing to them. They're kind of dicky tokens that people have opened up just to see if they can get on the back of everyone going crazy on the altcoin market.
Well, okay, so you're just talking about just outright ICO scams.
Yeah, no, there is definitely ICO scams. There has been. The people who got into Confido really got burnt hard on that one. So there's definitely ICO scams and that sort of thing to look out for. But of coins actually available on the market, you've got things like Putin coin, you've got Trump coin, you've got expletive coin. I can't even say the word. I'm not joking. You've got big booth coin on the market.
Yeah, okay, you're not joking, but I see those things and I've never even looked them up. I just figured they were jokes.
Yeah, but you look at the market cap in them, and there's actually, you know, it's like if I was just to have a look at, I don't know, one of those coins now. If I was to have a look at Putin coin, for example, on Coin Market Cap.
Okay. Let me rephrase the question. What coin in the top 20?
Okay.
Is worse than B Trash?
I've got one just outside the top 20 that I don't particularly like.
Okay.
BitConnect. What's your thoughts on it, AccuFi? BitConnect, I'm not a fan. You?
They're making a lot of money off of people.
Not sustainable though, right?
No.
Yeah. So that's one just outside the top 20. So there are a couple with like.
That's a buyer beware. Do your research before you do it. If you just want to get cash and not really worry about other things, and you just want the percentage, go ahead, do what you want. But
the percentage is bad. The percentage is in fiat.
It's horrible.
What people don't understand, because you're getting this. They say it's up to 40% a month, but it usually averages like 25, maybe 30%. But I mean, look at Bitcoin this year. It's up over 900% this year. So that's way better than 40% a month. And in fact, they very rarely do 40% a month. They typically do 25 to 30. So as your fiat value is going up 25 to 30, Bitcoin's going up, 900% a year. I would take the 900% a year, and Bitcoin's not set up like a pyramid scheme. I don't know for sure what BitConnect is, but the way it's set up is a total pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus. I will just say one thing though. I'll take 40% per month before I'll take 900% per year compounding. But it's not sustainable. I think 40% per month compounding would actually work out.
But they very rarely do 40. They typically do 25 or 30. I think it's closer to 25. But when you look at the risk, and then that's just in the fiat. Now you got to take the fiat and go and buy the BitConnect coin back, and which has gone up in value. So you just lost some of your value there. Then you got to change the BitConnect back into Bitcoin, and so you lose value there because Bitcoin went up. So now you got to take that sometimes 40, rarely 40, usually 25 to 30%. Now you got to take a big percentage off that. So no, you're going to lose on BitConnect. You're going to lose, and then when they decide to pull the plug and run with the pot of gold at the top, you're going to lose big.
Goodbye.
That's my opinion as well. So that makes 3 of us, guys. One thing I'd like to talk about quickly as well, since we are on the topic of higher risk, high market cap coins, you know, things that have made it into the top 20 that we see as risky. Have either of you two heard much about the Tether debacle or the Tether rumors going around at the moment that it's potentially a modified reserve fractional banking system where they don't actually hold as much US dollars as they're claiming to? Have you heard those rumors?
Well, there was some kind of hacking with it. I guess some of the value they were holding in Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin got hacked. I didn't hear that it was they were holding a fractional percent. They were holding a certain percentage in fiat and a certain percentage in Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin got, or a portion of the Bitcoin got hacked.
Yeah, they lost about 30 million. They came out with a statement basically saying they could track where that $30 million had gone to and essentially burn those coins and recreate, or, you know, I don't know exactly how they do it because I'm not a programmer, but they're able to isolate those coins and re-add them into the network. But that, along with the whole Bitfinex hacking, and there was some questionable activity around the US dollar tether at the time of that, when they were actually selling Bitfinex coin, giving Bitfinex coins to the people who got hacked as a reparation for the things that got stolen, and they essentially bought them back. It was really kind of odd trading pattern. So actually for myself, I've never seen, like, I don't go back into US dollar tether anyway. It's not something I've used in my trading, but it's just something at the moment with some of the news coming out that I'm advising most people, maybe if you're looking to take profits, either actually back into fiat itself or into probably Bitcoin, or, you know, Bitcoin, because it's, you know, at least a little bit more, not a little bit more, it's a lot more transparent than the current tether system. So yeah, that's been my advice to people: go into fiat itself or into Bitcoin if you're going to take profits, because it seems to be the safer option rather than going into tether. Okay, we've had a good chat. I'm just going to see if on the chat, because I've been chatting to you guys, see if anyone has anything that they've popped in the chat.
They're saying that the 25% compound is still better than 900% a year, 25% a month.
Yeah.
But that's still, you're still not taking into account that it's in fiat, and that you have to buy back the Bitcoin coin, which has gone up during the time that you have it in the lending program, and then you have to use the Bitcoin coin to then buy back the Bitcoin, which has also gone up. So I mean, that's going to take 60, 70, maybe 80% of your profits at least. And then the higher risk that it's a pyramid scheme and they can pull the plug at any time, I think it's a very foolish thing to get into.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I mean, to run a formula of compounding interest over 12 months, the project actually has to survive another 12 months to start with. I'm probably being a little bit cheeky there, but no, it's true with these sorts of unsustainable structures.
Yeah, but plus it's in fiat. When you lend, it's in fiat. And so you're getting your percentage back in fiat. Mm-hmm. And so that percentage is rising. You got to buy back the Bitconnect, which is also rising, and then use that to buy back the Bitcoin, which is also rising. So that eats up all of your profits, if not more.
Yeah. It's it's not one that I'm looking to get into. I've never been a fan of it. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I mean, a lot of people come into the economy and see anything in the top 20 as blue chips, right? So it just goes to show you that you really do need to do your research, because I think most people who have had a really good look at Bitconnect have come to the opinion that it's not going to be sustainable. I think most people who've had a really good look into Bitcoin Cash have agreed that it, is not the original Bitcoin, because that was decided in a community vote where the community overwhelmingly voted towards SegWit. And also that increasing block size is not a scaling solution. So I think eventually people will realize these things, but I think it really brings danger to the newbies coming in, where they don't necessarily they're not really taking the time to look into the project. Oh, it's another Bitcoin. It's at number 3. It must be safe. It's another blue chip. Bang, money in there. And that can be a problem. Rocky, the other thing I'd like to talk to you about, man, one thing that I've been hearing a lot, and, you know, YouTubers that I actually respect as well, I like their ability to understand the crypto economy. It seems to make a lot of sense. But one thing that a few of them have been saying that I don't agree with is that they've been holding Bitcoin Cash as a hedge against Bitcoin. Now, that makes no sense to me for a couple of reasons. One, a flippening can't happen without somehow all the exchanges that currently exist essentially coordinating to move to Bitcoin Cash as their key store of wealth, or their main trading coin. And there was but that's the major reason, I guess. It can't be coordinated on that scale to actually move it over. So there was another reason that I had a real problem with. I can't remember, but that was the main one for me. I just can't see a flipping happening because of that.
Yeah, it's back to the don't keep all your eggs in one basket thing. If you want to diversify, fine, diversify, but diversify in something better than B trash.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in agreement that nothing in the top 20 is worse than B cash, right? So why hold B cash at all? So you don't have to trade it in for Bitcoin. You could trade it in for PIVX or Monero or a Dash or whatever you want to trade it in for. But all these things I just mentioned, I have much more respect for than B trash.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was just looking over the top 20 then, and I don't disagree with you.
But you also, another thing you got to look at with these change is the developers. I mean, Bitcoin has 120 A-rated developers. B-Trash has, a handful of B-rated developers. You're going to hold your wealth in a chain that has a handful of B-rated developers instead of 120 of the best developers in the space? That's just crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
I tend to agree. And I agree with you as well. If you want to diversify, which obviously I do, I'm into my altcoins, you know that. But if you want to diversify, I think you've got to look for coins that are actually bringing a different value proposition to the economy, not just cloning, trying to play off the popularity of Bitcoin's name by using that as a prefix. I think everyone's a bit sick of the forks. Everyone's a bit sick of forks that just take the name of Bitcoin and honestly, even how does Bitcoin Gold get up that high? To me, there are better options if you want to go with GPU mining in the economy. Like there are better projects, more established projects than Bitcoin Gold for GPU mining. So if that's the path you want to take, I can say, well, maybe something like Vertcoin, which has a market cap like this compared to Bitcoin Gold, which was released how long ago? A few weeks ago. It doesn't make any sense.
I dumped my Bitcoin Gold ASAP also. I mean, I don't hate it like I hate B-Trash, but I also dumped my Bitcore coin. And I actually kind of liked that coin. It had a lot of good things. I liked the community. I spent a lot of time in their forum and chatting with people in there. And it seems like a nice bunch of guys. I mean, they gained a lot of respect, from what they've been saying in there. And I like the idea of having that airdrop every Monday. That was nice. You got that 3% every Monday in November. You're going to get 4% every Monday in December and 5% every Monday in January. But that's only on a limited time. There's some fund that they have that they're paying out, these airdrops from. And at first there was talk about, them running out of money in like June or July, and then that changed to like February. And now there's talk about maybe January. So it didn't seem like it was going to last very long, at least that aspect of it. I hear they are getting on ways to pay all your bills using Bitcore. So that's interesting. But seems like they're making things happen, and, doing stuff positive. So I really don't have a big problem with that coin. But it got me free Bitcoin, so I traded it.
Yeah, I understand that. My only issue with Bitcoin Gold is using the prefix Bitcoin. I think it's a clear play on the popularity of Bitcoin, and to me, that's a bit lazy.
There was one big issue I had with it. Is one of the developers of Bitcoin Gold was on Adam Meister's show, and Adam was asking him about the wallets that was on the website, and that one wallet was malicious. If you put your wallet words into it, it said you had to do that to get your Bitcoin Gold. And if you didn't move your Bitcoin off, they would steal your Bitcoin. And so on this show, Adam specifically asked that developer, what about these wallets on there? Can these be trusted? And he said, yes, we vetted or he said, we audited the wallets on the website. If you're getting a wallet from the website, it's a good wallet. So he endorsed that wallet, and it was malicious. So people lost money because of it. I know a guy who knows a guy who lost quite a bit of Bitcoin because of that wallet, and he endorsed it. One of the developers endorsed it on Adam's shows, and that was once that happened, I was more than happy to dump it when I got a hold of mine.
Yeah, right. And that's an important point for all the viewers who are watching it. When you are investing in crypto, it's important to keep an eye on the news coming out as well. It helps you to keep ahead of the game. So it's a good tip from Rocky there. Guys, we're probably just about ready to wrap it up for today. I wanted to thank you both for coming in, and I sort of gambled and said, I'm just going to put the link in and hope some people join in for the chat today. So thank you both for joining me and making sure I wasn't just speaking to myself. That was good. Just for those of you who are interested, I'm just taking a look at the last hour now, and lots of green figures, a good restoring confidence. Bitcoin itself has popped over 10,000 again. It's actually at 10,653 according to CoinMarketCap. Really, really interesting last 24 hours in the economy. What's the next 24 hours got ahead? Who knows? So, Rocky, good to see you again. Aki5, thanks for dropping in, mate. We'll catch you both soon for another crypto chat. And to all the regulars and the new viewers, thanks very much for joining us. We'll catch you all soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.